bitch for life. You don't wanna fuck you,
but just don't step wrong. Flag to the left. You can rep, but just don't rep wrong. Aim a neck, your face and your chest blown. Bitches by the bag and you'll be dead for the next song. I spend my time hustling at my against the wall and can't nobody tell me nothing. Spend my time hustling, had to get it out the mud, so can't nobody tell me nothing. I ain't never been no hoe, you got me fucked up. And I don't give a fuck, you got me fucked up. And I ain't never going broke, you got me fucked up. If you think I care about that hoe, you got me fucked up. Yeah, cause I spend my time hustling, had to get it out the mud, so can't nobody tell me nothing. Spend my time hustling, had my back against the wall, so can't nobody tell me nothing. Yeah,
I'ma jump it out. So many bullets in the bitch, can't duck them all. Am I grab the lap, ugly brought up with your bra involved. Auto called out good to the corner call. Street cornered off, cause the man knocked down on the ground for the shoulders off. I demand respect, the peace for nothing less. If it disrespect, I disconnect the neck. No reconnect, the doctors know what best. Can't detect the vet that got them stretched. Mama cried, baby mama stretched. The kids confused, they want the daddy back. The body views, close the casket back. Man, that nigga chop, you gotta live with that. I just spit the fence so you can keep the rap. Better keep it rap, you gotta keep a scrap. And once the tap, your bitch can keep a cash. Shit, I'm done with that, but gotta run it back. Just spit the fence so you can keep the rap. Better keep it rap, you gotta keep a scrap. And once the tap, your bitch can keep a cat. And that's a rap, so what you say?
I ain't never been no hoe, you got me fucked up. And I don't give a fuck, just know you got me fucked up. And I ain't never going broke, you got me fucked up. If I care about that hoe, you got me fucked up. Yeah, cause I spend my time hustling, had to get it out the mud, so can't nobody tell me nothing. Spend my time hustling, had my back against the wall, so can't nobody tell me nothing. Yeah.
$22.99, dirty cop. He gonna hook it up. Come on, Nakawar, hook me up. Go ahead, I'm going.
Fuck around with you, blood.
John Diamond make the
Crooked officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, I get cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. It's wicked as hell. Arresting a man for nothing, got him sitting in jail. Look down on us, call us niggas when they niggas themselves. Supposed to show them the way, instead they show them a cell. Fuck nigga, how the fuck is you a man of the Lord? You pull up with white boys and you put niggas in the back of the car. But you wouldn't last a day in their yard with all them killers, them lions and them tigers and them bears and them gorillas. Tried to convince a nigga to snitch on his own brother. He wear the purple Israelite group. They undercover, so pussy ass nigga. Regretting that bitch. Tell him take off that badge and I'll bat him in his shit. Crooked officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. False doctrine, a nigga that shot that tranny. The dick pic, the fake pictures on social media. You posing as bitches. The murder on Joe Morgan, how a body came up missing. That scheming nigga cannot stealing that brother bitch. Them marching for the rich, but don't do nothing for the poor. The shit them niggas tried on the Kansas City boat. Them purple niggas tried that same bullshit before. Cap told them bitch about my holding treatment like a hoe. Michelle told them they lightweight, they packed up all they shit. Fuck wrong with you, boy, we meant a war around this bitch. Undercover ass, purple badge, and Easter ass bitch. We know cop was on the men prepared to die around this bitch. You heard? Crooked officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. $2.99.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do right now. Hey, Shalom, y'all was with thumb. Y'all was smaller thumb by Shimmy. I was bear with me 1 second. Salakia, they're on the live. Give me 1 second. Let me handle something. Nadia, I need an email. Let me see something. No, that ain't gonna work. Nadia, I need an email. Nadia, that email, I sent it to Nadia Abiyahar. Did that work? Or no? No. What email I need to send it to?
Nooks 1819.
Nooks?
KNUXX 18.
You got a little stars. All right. I don't know. I send it to be there. No. All right, there we go. All right, most high Christ. Let's clap it up. Let's get it on. All right, most high Christ. Again, Shalom Yabashim Shabbat Thumb. Let's preach Naz and Yara Mott of the Israelite School of UPK. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Understand this tonight is the Wednesday night, the law class. It's the class that every Christian hates. It's the class that every Muslim runs away from. This is the class that actually changes your life. This is the Israelites, how the Most High wanted us to live, what law us to follow, what customs he wanted us to do. You understand? However, you and your Christian church, you believe that the Christian church has done away with the laws, and you believe that you have been granted the access to live whatever kind of life that you want to live. That is not true. But before we get into it, I want to give a couple shout outs. Brothers, give it up for Commander General Yohana, man. Give it up for the Israelite School UPK. We just got done hosting the 55th annual Passover, man. And we did it right here, right down. How many feet does y'all think that is? 100 feet, 200 feet, maybe 500 feet. Not 2 footballs worth. We did it right down the street in Snow Hill, North Carolina, man. At the Red House, we held the Passover, man. And it's a wonderful thing that brothers was able to come out here and come together from all over the earth and to do something that's absolutely righteous and absolutely beautiful. However, on the wake of us holding that Passover, we did have some people of the community. And of course, as you can guess, our oppressor was heated at what we did. They were absolutely distraught at what we did, how many black people came together in one location. And you know the sad part about why they were so mad? They were so mad because black people came together and they didn't hear not one shot. Black people came together and they didn't hear not one fight break loose during the duration of the whole event. You understand? I talked to the police officers. I had to call in because I myself have gotten calls from private numbers from these devils that's right around here right now. They here right now, and these devils were upset because they had no idea what was going on. All they seen was a 1,000 Negroes and slaves together serving the Most High, man. And it made them upset. It made them upset like Pharaoh. Y'all remember the story of Pharaoh in Egypt? When Pharaoh let the children of Israel, you understand, he let us go. But he seen that we was about to prosper. We was about to be good without being underneath his foot. Now he went and gathered his army. He came after the nation of Israel. And that's what these oppressors, they want to do to you. That's what they want to do to you today. You understand? This is the point that I'm trying to make. As glorious as what we did do is glorious in all hell, but you brothers gonna have to be serious about this business. You're gonna have to be. You sisters gonna have to be serious about this business. This isn't a fraternity group. This isn't no being a Q dog or being in some biker club where you wear cool jackets and go to Walmart and people say, oh, you ride bikes. This isn't that. When you come into this truth and you serve the Most High, you're gonna have to prepare yourself for everything. Yeah, the glory. Yeah, you're gonna have to prepare yourself for that, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the high holy days of righteousness, but you're gonna have to prepare yourself for Satan and this oppressor because he's coming. He is coming. Right. The more and more that you come together with your brothers and you stand up against this oppression, that oppressor is going to stand up against you for the shield of David that you rock. At one point, you could be in Snow Hill and you could roll around with a shield of David and white people look at you and say, nothing. You know why? Because they never even seen it before. They never seen it in this country town before. All they seen was civil rights. They put an end to civil rights by hanging a few black people from these trees out here. And then that was the end of it. They deaded any rebellion from black people and made them to be subtile slaves right here in Snow Hill, right here in this city. It happened. It's the history here. You go on the street and there is a historic black segregated high school right now, still built. Guess who runs it? White people. They run it. They ended that. You know why? Because black doctors were coming out of that school. Black lawyers were coming out of that school, and they were moving to cities like Durham, and they were responsible for building up Wall Street. Hell, one of the most prominent black drug dealers, it's crazy, one of the most prominent black drug dealers that ever lived on the face of the planet Earth. Guess where he's from? Here. He's right here in LaGrange. Black people started to thrive because even in our wickedness with the we knew how to stay together. And the more and more we stayed together, our oppressor had the ante of his pressure that he put on our necks. But after years, after the 60s, after the 70s, after the 80s and crack and drug epidemic that pushed black people out of their neighborhoods and put them into the ghettos and the barrios and made our lessen our condition, white people didn't have to be racist anymore. They didn't have to be. They don't have to hang you from trees. They don't have to call you nigga in the store. Why? Because when you go into the store, you respect white people. You put your head down and you know that you don't ever want to feel the pain that your grandparents felt. You know that. Your grandparents. Give a hand out for my grandmother as well, Salaya. The water to her. You understand? For allowing us to use her land. And let me tell you one thing, she was ecstatic. When I asked her firsthand, I said, how was the event? You understand? Because some of my family didn't like the idea of us being there. They think we're terrorists. They think we're the cult. So I asked her, how was the event? She said, I loved it. I enjoyed myself. Y'all come back anytime you want. And then I told her, she started calling me about all the threats and all of the white people calling them, trying to figure out who the hell they had in this community. Who did they host? And my grandma, she laughed. She laughed, and she is so happy to get some payback for them devils that used to spit on her mile down the street, walking to that segregated high school. They used to spit on her and throw rocks on her so that she couldn't make it to school. And she's one of those successful black women who came out of that school and made a success for herself. But now she's happy, man. But the point is that the more and more that we do this job, the more and more that we do this work, the more and more your oppressor is going to hate you. Now, What's the plan of action? I'm gonna have to talk a little bit about you fake Israelites. You're gonna have to be careful. You're gonna have to be careful. You want to serve the Most High. You want to be an Israelite. You want to know who I'm talking about, right? Them brothers who want to wear the fringes on the t-shirt, but then you talk to them and they say, "Well, I don't deal with no camp. I'm alone." The problem is this: these and you got fringes on just like how we got them on, except we ain't got them on our t-shirt. But you know, they devils, they stupid, they don't know the difference. So now what's going to happen when them devils try to attack you? What's going to happen when you get kickback from the glorious actions that we've done in the world? What's going to happen to you? You won't have brotherhood to stand on. You won't have the protocols that we have in the Israelite School of UPK from the oppression that's going to come. You won't have it. And so for you fake Israelites, I'm telling you right now, you better find the nearest Israelite School of UPK and you better get in it and put in your bricks and put in this work and put your boots on the ground and get with your brothers, because in here is the only place you're going to find your protection. And that's all throughout the Bible. You understand? Give me Zephaniah 2:1 real quick, then I'll take your questions. Mm-hmm.
Book of Zephaniah, chapter 2.
You knew I was going there, huh? Most kind of crazy.
Gather yourselves together.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, gather together. O nation, not desired.
O nation, desired. This is one of my favorite scriptures of all time, pulled up before every class, right? But I just never really could understand how, if the scriptures want us to gather together, then how the hell are you not with the Israelite School of UPK? That's something that just never dawned on me. How are you like or claim Israelite, but you say, "Oh, I can't Israelites, okay, I can't be with y'all. I can't." So my one gave me an ultimatum and said that if I either choose her or choose her, but I'm just gonna choose, but I'm gonna still I'm gonna still be in Israel. We can be friends. I never understood that. Maybe one day one of you understand. But they called us to gather to be as one. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 2. Before the day bring forth, before the pass is
before the day passes the shaft. Why? Why is the Lord specifying this day? Something that you have to learn, right? You're gonna have to learn this, understand why brotherhood is so important in the Israelite School of UPK. Specifying a day of action. You understand? He could have just said, I need to come together tomorrow in the time of peace. Why is he saying you need to come together before the day of destruction comes? I want to take a shot. Mm-hmm.
I want to say because we're in the last days, but as Christ said, that the kingdom is at hand, so you might as well gather together. You don't have to suffer.
You own it. You own it, but there's something specific that I want out of this, brother.
Yeah, we need the scripture saying we need to come together.
Mm-hmm.
For that day come, because we're gonna need each other.
Give him a hand. He knows. Give him a hand. Because in the day of destruction, you're gonna need each other. You're gonna need brotherhood in that day. When them bombs start dropping and them devils start losing their mind, you're gonna look to your left and your right, and you're gonna hope to see a brother beside you. You're gonna hope to see it. Now in the Israelite School of UPK, we have brothers. You understand? Like I said before, we have our protocols. We have our evacuation plans for our families to make sure that our families are safe. But now you who held the Passover at your house by yourself, what do you have? Who do you got? When all hell breaks loose, who you gonna call? The police? You gonna call the Congress? The House of Senate, who you gonna? Well, I'm sure you think you so badass and you got yourself a little AK-47. I be seeing them fake Israelites. They are hilarious. Do you know how many fake Israelites believe that they are Iron Man or Blade? They be doing the training. Y'all tell me y'all haven't seen the videos. They be doing the training and having all the weapons and all of that stuff, and they be thinking that they're Blade. They are going to fight against Armageddon themselves and save their whole family by themselves. They're not. They're not. And it's so selfish and it's so stupid because you are going to get your family unalived. That's what's going to happen. You understand? And that's what I want to make sure that these brothers know. Is there any more on that? Go ahead.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Again, just reiterating that day of destruction. Go ahead and drop questions. Right. Nadia, what's up with Chef? You want to check up on him? Yeah, you can do that. Questions. You did have a question, though, right?
All
right. Questions online. If you have any questions, just type it in the chat. If anybody need water at any time, just tell one of the troopers that get it for you. If you need anything, the troopers that get it for you. Any questions? I know Nadia passed one, so I'll try to wait for him. Give me Matthew 5:17 for the time being.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I'm not come to destroy it, but to fulfill it.
Now, who is this talking?
So I get one. Christ.
This is Christ. Break it down.
So basically, he's talking about he hasn't come to end the law like how Christians would say that the law died with him on the cross. He's basically saying that that's not true.
Do me better, right? I'll do you one better. I'm gonna read it. I want you to break it down.
Yeah.
All right. Now you know reading, but you tell me to stop. You're the teacher now, reader. Yeah. All right. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16. Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Right here, Christ is saying that he had to come to destroy the law. That you shouldn't think that. Like, it shouldn't be in your mind that he's coming to end the laws. He's more referring to the whole Bible, but okay, keep going.
Good. Or the prophets.
He's talking about the prophets of the Old Testament, right?
Come on, be a little confident.
Yeah.
Don't try not to add too much.
Yeah.
Right? What Christ is saying is solid in itself. Right? Don't add too much to what he's saying, but use certain words and just like think. You caught it. You wasn't about to say it at first, but you caught it. Think not. You got to emphasize that, because that means that don't even fathom this. Don't even debate about this. This shouldn't even be a question. Like after we read what he's about, he said it shouldn't even be a debate.
Right.
You understand? And so we go again. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Break that down.
Yeah.
What is he saying?
Christ is saying that you shouldn't even have a thought that he's coming to end the laws or basically wash away anything that probably before him talk.
Correct. Well, now, why? Why is he saying this? Nah, you should be down there. Why is he saying this?
He's saying that because people, I guess you'll say, think that he's coming to end the law and died on the cross.
What people think that?
Christians.
You have to paint the picture for them right there. You like the same way we can show you yourself in the scriptures.
Yeah.
You have to show Christians where they at. You got to show Esau where he's at. You got to show them where they are so they can understand it. Think not that I'm destroy the law or the prophet. when Christ was on the scene, he did not come to do away with anything that was in the Old Testament.
Right.
He's saying this because Christians believed back then that Christ was coming to do away with what brothers in the Old Testament taught. He was not coming to do away with it. And now, if he wasn't coming away to do with it, then what is he doing? It's only the opposite. If he's not coming,
Just so you should follow it.
he's coming to teach it.
Right.
He's coming to teach exactly what it says in the Old Testament, right? Now, continuing on. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Meaning that he's not coming to end what they did.
Now, hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there. Teach them. A lot of these things I'm doing for y'all in this class, right? You'll learn in Hebrew Academy, right? But now you always want to repeat what was said. I come to destroy, but to fulfill. When you cut the reader off, say what the scripture said. All right. So we're gonna do it again. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
I'm not going to destroy, but fulfill.
Add some more confidence to it. It's no sweat. You'll get it. Come on, break it down.
Like, so he's saying that he's not coming to end the law, but to fulfill means to show again.
To show again.
Meaning that show you the spirit behind the law.
But see, that's not right, because the fulfillment of the law, when Christ died for our sins, fulfilled it when he died. That means that we don't have to follow the law anymore because he fulfilled it. That was his destiny, to die for our sins so that we wouldn't be under the bondage of the law anymore.
We wouldn't be under the bondage of punishment.
The fulfillment, right? He fulfilled it when he died.
I would have to disagree.
Come on with it.
Christ fulfilling the law is showing us how to do the law. That's why the spirit. The spirit of the law, not stealing with your brother's rib, not killing your brother because he stepped on your shoe, but he showed us how to forgive that brother, even though he may have us unto him. And like, brother, you know, I don't like the way he did this, and having counsel about it.
What was the problem here? Right? Go ahead.
Okay. The problem was that even though the Sadducees and the Pharisees were already doing,
and not even just the Pharisees, like paint, like show me if we was thousands of years ago here right now, what's happening? What is the problem? When you answer the question, you'll start to realize that it's not no damn different than today. There is no difference. The problem that we have today is the exact problem they had back then. It's the exact same thing. What is the problem?
the problem that's the problem is that we're not following the law as we should be.
Why?
Because our leaders are showing us to law.
They're not, right? But what is the thought? What is the thought process between the commonwealth of the people as it pertains to these laws? As it pertains to the Old Testament, thousands of years ago, what did they think?
So like that when Christ was saying that that was the law.
Why?
Because that's what they were being taught.
That's not. That's true, right? That's what they were saying this. But why did they? Okay. When you bring it to today, right? Christians teach that Christ came and ended the law, correct? Why do they teach that? Go ahead, brother.
Because say like race.
Say what?
I'm saying about blood.
They say that, right? That's what they say. But why do they say it? Is that what's in the Bible? Did Christ die so that we could sin? No. So why do they say it then? Come on.
Say that because they hypocrites. They don't want to keep the law.
Because they don't want to do it.
Right.
That's all. That's it. When you go into the Old Testament and you see these laws, God damn, Salakia. You see these 400 some, how many laws it is. You say, damn. But then you look at the Romans. And you see how Pontius Pilate is ruling the goddamn planet. You see how Julius Caesar is ruling the earth. Did Julius Caesar keep the Passover? Did he keep the Feast of First Fruits? Did they have to cut the foreskin of their sons, their male sons, on the seventh day? No, they didn't have to do none of that. They ate pork. They had sex with men. They abused their women. They committed bestiality. They lived whatever kind of lifestyle. They worshiped whatever kind of God they wanted to worship. Go ahead, choose your God. They don't make video games about that nowadays. Choosing your which one you want to side, Athena and Poseidon and whatever the hell else. You could do whatever you wanted to do. And they seen that they were in power. And so now, what do the Israelites see? They see that, man, we got these laws that these brothers are telling us we got to keep. But these laws are so hard to follow. Like the brother said, we're hypocrites. Why? Because we'll claim to love the Most High. We'll claim to want to follow Christ, follow the prophets in the Old Testament, but we only want to do what makes us feel good, which is what the problem is. That's the problem that Christ had to deal with. That's the problem that you have to deal with today. The problem has nothing to do with the records. It has nothing to do. Like, people try to make this Bible seem like it's the Matrix. You ever seen the Matrix with the screen? Now that's confusing. Your numbers and stuff, that's confusing as hell. This Bible is not that. This is very, very simple. So when you're debating these scriptures, or when you're debating topics of these scriptures, you're not debating what's in this book. You're debating somebody wanting to do something rather than what the Lord told them to do. Right. The Lord told us to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. He told us to hold on to what was taught in the Old Testament, because what was taught in the Old Testament was correct. That's why Christ did it. How do you know? Because how was he perfect? What made Christ perfect? Come on. Because he didn't sin. How did Christ know what the laws were? Come on. Because the Old Testament was here for our learning and our understanding. That's what the Bible says, right? It was given to us so that we can read it, we could understand it, and then perfect it. The problem was we did not want to perfect it. So Christ gave his only begotten son to die for us so that we can now see that we have to follow him. Now we have a king who was uncorruptible. Now we have a king who wouldn't eat pork behind the shade of the trees like the Sadducees and Pharisees were doing. Now we have who is not going to abandon us for filthy lucre's sake, for money. Now we have a leader that's not T.D. Jakes. Now you see a man who lived and died perfectly, and he did it for you. So now, what's your excuse? What's your excuse now? You know how many Christians criticize T.D. Jakes? You know how many Christians criticize him for what he does? And T.D. Jakes is a Christian. Right. You know how many Christians criticize Creflo Dollar? And they criticize men who teach exactly what they believe. Why? Because Christians, the second you do something they don't agree with or they don't like, then they'll disown you. So you know what the Lord did? He gave a man and you had nothing you could say about. He gave you a leader that you could bring no charge on. That's why the Sadducees and Pharisees was trying to do it. Every time Christ turned around, they was asking him questions about reincarnation, asking him questions about sex being marriage, asking him questions about working on the Sabbath day. Why? Only to confound him. Because if they would have found fault in Christ, then they could have accepted him. Then they could have said, "Oh, this is a man of renown." Why? Because he's faulted just like us. He's a fool just like we are. He falls short just like we fall short. But they couldn't find nothing in him. Right. They couldn't find nothing in Christ, so they had to unalive him. They had to. That was the only way that they could feel comfortable sitting in the seat that they sat in, was to unalive him. Today, no different. which is why you brothers have to be what in the Israelite school of UPK? Come on. You have to. You have to. Because these Christians, again, this ain't never been the argument. How many of you got family members that's in the world that you've argued about what you do in the truth? All of you. Is it ever really about what's in the book? Just be honest. Have you ever really gotten an argument with your brother or with your family? And then your mother says, well, go to Matthew 16 and 26. Well, go here and go here. And you really dive into what's in the records. If you still be doing it to this day. She'd be calling the class, debating, trying to teach and trying to hold lectures. She's not. Why? Because it's not about this. This has nothing to do with it. They're going to pull John 3:16, then they're going to talk about their feelings, and then they're going to say, well, we just got to agree to disagree. You know why? Because it's not about what's in the book. It's about their feelings. It's about them and you. They want to find fault in Commanding General Yohana in the Israelite school of UPK, which is why you can't give it to them. Because the second you give it to them, then they'll accept you. I promise you. Go weed with your family. Go do it. They'll love the Isupk then. They'll love it. Go celebrate Christmas with your family. Hold your point. Go do it. Celebrate Christmas with your family, and they're gonna be, hey, shalom, huh? Shalom, brother. Israelite school of UPK. When that next black party, oh yeah, I'm gonna come. They'll love it the same way they love Islam. Right. Why? Because you can smoke in Islam. It ain't no different. So they don't have no reason to hate you if you're Muslim. They don't have one. You beat women just like Christians do. You sell drugs just like Christians do. You celebrate Christmas just like Christians. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that Muslims don't celebrate Christmas. They do it. But you just like them. So they're not uncomfortable with you. The reason why your family hates you is because when you come into the Israelite school of UPK, they see something that's absolutely different. You look like a fucking cult leader. You look like it. You look like a goddamn terrorist. You look like they've never, ever seen before. What do you mean you got to cover your head and go to class? And you have to wear a dress? And you got to eat unleavened bread for 7 days? What do you mean you got to go to some Passover? You got to be a trooper and wear all black and hold Shema and do this and do that. That is something that is so surreal to the world that they can't even understand it. So the only thing they can do is find themselves in you. They have to look for it. You cannot give it to them. Christ didn't give it to them. And that's why they had to unalive him. They had to. Christ's own family, his own people, his blood had to unalive him because they could not find fault within him. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the king or some Hamite who said that? If I'm not mistaken, he said, why does thou, I'm paraphrasing, he said something along the lines of, why do you want to unalive this man? I find no fault in him. Come on. Was it Pontius Pilate that said it? No sweat. Pontius Pilate, if I'm not mistaken, Pontius Pilate said, I find no fault in him. Why are you so angry? That life that you're going to live today. You understand, Nadia, what you have?
Basically,
on 1 second. 1 second. Hey, Salam, young man Shep, can you hear me?
Shalom on Christ, I can hear you.
All right, most high in Christ. All right, you on the live now. If you got to say anything, to say Salakia, just unmute yourself. Other than that, just stay muted. And we can roll down the questions. Let me know.
Come.
All right. Go ahead, Nadia.
Basically, what I was saying was when I go to Virginia, so it's weird now that I go around them. I feel a different vibe because they used to, the old me. Mm-hmm. And now they see a different person. It's always slip that they, but I don't pay it no mind because I know who I am, but they choose not to basically listen to what I have to say.
What do you mean? Give an example. What are you saying?
As far as, okay, when I go around them, they're smoking.
Okay.
I'm distant.
Mm-hmm.
But they're expecting me to sit with them while
they smoking, so you can get contact high.
Right.
So you can make a fool out of yourself.
Right.
And so they could take a picture of you with your UPK shirt, man who's ready to be fondled on. You know that's what happens, right? You know that's what happens. Then you go up into them college parties or whatever, they get high out their mind and they pass out on a couch and they don't know what happened to them the next day. They don't know. They just wake up feeling bad. Salakia. But go ahead. That's what they want for you. They want you to get a contact high so you can wake up and not know what happened. Come on.
Basically, like me being who I am, it's a different atmosphere for them because, like I said, they're used to the old me. So like when I'm around my cousins, like we would have a genuine conversation. Well, we can now, but it's a different spirit behind it.
I got you. I understand. Most of you brothers, you understand, if not all of you brothers and sisters, when you come into the truth, you'll experience similar things. You understand? You'll find above your family. If when you be in the truth for a while, you'll see it like how I've seen it, right? Your mothers, your fathers, your uncles, you'll start to see that regardless of their position in your life, you'll start to be above them, right? And then one day you'll get a call from your cousin, and you know what he's gonna say? I know you be teaching that stuff, man. I need counsel. You get a call from your uncle. Hey, man, so what do you think about this situation? What do you think about that? You're going to get all of them calls because they'll know, even though they won't tell you, they will realize what? Come on. That you're better than them. They'll realize that. Your mother will realize that you're better than her. You're a better woman than she ever was. When you're a woman who stays in that relationship, stays in that marriage, and you actually do it till death do us part. That's what they say, right, in the Christian church, till death do us part. They don't mean it, but then you actually do it. Before she dies, she'll look at you and she'll know, and Lord allow, she'll say it, you're a woman than I ever was. Why is that? That's because of the Christ.
Right.
We follow the Most High in Christ, man. Commander John in the Israelite School of UPK, and we do what they say to do. We follow these records, and your family, they'll see it. They'll start to see it as you become a trooper, as you wear all black, as you start saying, no, mom, I can't buy cigarettes for you anymore from the gas station. And you explain to her that you will not be the reason she dies from lung cancer.
Right.
She'll start to realize, damn, of how good of a son I got. She ain't gonna like it right then and there. Why? Because she wants them Newports out. Satan, that demon is killing her. She need it. But eventually she'll realize how much you actually love her. And she'll have to attest that to the school. She'll have to. You understand? Because that's the only place where you learn how to be a brother like that.
Right.
Come on with it. Who has something? Question. Let's go.
Basically, Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
Mm-hmm. You need another butt, another sword?
Oh, it's nice. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her.
Start at verse 24, folks.
Come on. Verse 24.
Let me get there.
Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate.
23.
23. If a damsel be betrothed unto and the husband, a man find him and lie with her.
So now, this is a good precept, especially for you GMS idiots, right? Because GMS uses some of these precepts in this chapter to own being a woman, right? It is a sin to rape a woman. I want you all to understand that. There is no breakdown. There is no manipulating of these words in this Bible that'll ever make it okay for you to have sex with a woman. It's not to do it. You cannot punch her in the face and tie her up or drug her or along those lines that is against her will and to have sex with her anyway, that is rape. You will go to prison for doing it, if not worse. You damn sure better not try to rape any sister in the Israelite school of UPK. Right. Prison would be the least of your worries. I pray you understand. However, right? So a damsel, this is a woman, right? A woman, right? Or read it again.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 23. Mm-hmm. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband.
So now, in this scenario, this is a young woman of marriageable age. That's what a virgin is, right? A virgin does not mean that she had never had sex before. That's not what virgin. Virgin means a young marriageable age. Had her flowers had time to blossom or to bloom. She is a woman, but she's young. Keep going. And she be betrothed to unto a husband, right? A lot of we marry outside of the school or outside of the customs on the Bible, so this seems kind of taboo to us. But to be betrothed means to be promised. I mean, you have not had sex with this woman. She is not your wife yet, but she is. She's the other. Yeah, she's not going to go on dates with other men. If she's on a date, it's going to be with you. If she's talking to a man, it's going to be because you are the man who is promised to take this woman to be your wife. You understand? Okay. So now, keep going.
And a man find her in the city.
And a man find her. So now she goes out to the club. Now she's courting somebody. Or the world would call it what? We're talking, right? The world would say we're talking, even though when you're talking in the world, you full blown in the marriage. But for teaching's sake, they'll say we're talking. And so they go to the club and the man finds them, right? He's speaking to her, talk to her, whatever. Keep going. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And lie with her.
And they lie together. They have sex, right? Keep going.
Verse 24. Mm-hmm. Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city.
So now they had sex. The next day, like the brother finds out. The brother who she was betrothed to finds out. He goes to her phone, or however he finds out. Somebody told him, like, I seen the girl you talking to at the club leave with Ray Ray. And they went in his car and they was in the van and they didn't come out for 3 hours. Right? You find out. And so now back then, and during this time, they would both be brought to the gates of the city. Keep going.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And stones that they got.
And they will be unalived, right? Because adultery is not something that is allowed in here. So now this is part where you got to understand that this is a little bit different, because most women think adultery is when a woman sleeps outside of her marriage. But what if you're somebody? What if you ain't? What is it saying? That even if she was betrothed, brother, and she sleep with a man, she still has committed adultery. You understand? Keep going.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So because she cried not.
Because what?
Because she cried not.
Now this is very important. And this is what you brothers are gonna have to teach your daughters. Now, this is something that plagues the black people. Black girls are plagued by this because of the history of America, appropriation of race, right? And brothers, you got to stop. You have to stop appropriating this nonsense. You got to stop with these college parties and these lyrics, appropriate, putting something in a drink so that you can sleep with her. You got to stop. Because you don't understand that you are the problem as to why women are being abused, and they feel like they cannot say anything about it. Why? Because what does the thing? What does the woman think will happen if she comes out and says that Ray Ray raped her at the college party last night? What is a woman today? What happened? Come on. Mm-mm. Come on. no one's going to believe her. And not only are they not going to believe her, they're going to do what? They're going to ridicule her. They're going to chastise her being a liar. Does that happen a lot in? It happens a lot in the Jehovah's Witness community. A hell of a lot in the Jehovah's Witness community. They don't believe the woman or the woman because it's because the fabric of America is almost that rape and it is so prominent. It's so prevalent. It's engraved into our history of slavery here that the person who is the victim, almost all the time, we're just going to believe that she's lying. There's nothing to rape you. You just a hoe. You wanted it. That's what every rapist say. She wanted it, right? Why is that? Why would brothers agree that she wanted it? Come on. Close. Come on. Yes, brother.
Justifying his man, we just done to the woman.
They justifying it, but somewhere you gonna have to come on. Yeah, you can throw that in there, but come on.
To satisfy
You all knocking at the door. You got a home on the football team, right? He coming to you in the locker room and say, "Man, tell me why, man, I that last night. You know how you do in the locker room? Damn, for real? Damn." Then you got the one nigga in the back who low-key salty. He low-key like, man, talking to her, texting her, right? But then it comes out that the girl say that he raped her. But you justify it. You justify what he's saying. You say, man, she lying. She a hoe. She this and she that and there. Now, mind you, she went to police the next day and did the rape kit test and everything. And you justify it. Why is it that they justify it? Come on.
to make it seem like they're not the one that's in the wrong.
Now remember, I'm talking about the brothers outside of the man who's about to go to jail. I'm talking about the people beside him.
Salakia, sir.
Come on, sir.
Because she was known for doing that type of stuff.
Let's say that she's not even known. Let's say that this is a virgin. Let's say it's a virgin in a worldly term. She ain't known for none of this. Right now, but she's saying it's not raped her. But now all the boys in the group is saying, nah, man, she a hoe. She a hoe. That won't rape. It was consensual. They say what? They say, look at him. What the brother? Does he look like he got to rape somebody? Why they say that? Come on. Because they rapists, they damn so bad. Right. That's why. That's why. If a man came out and said, man, your running back had sex with with me last night, pause. You gonna defend it? I said, that nigga gay. With that, I don't roll like that. If you gay, you gotta stay over there. Understand? But they defended why? Because they're rapists, they damn so bad. Right. If it wasn't you that raped that woman, they would do it. They would have tried to do it. They would have tried to get the ecstasy pill. They would have been the ones that tried to put the pill inside the drink so that they could get her in the room. Why? Because Sydney bad. And they lust so much that they'll do anything to get it, even rape her. You have to crucify men like that. You have to. You have to crucify men like that. In the college campuses, Mark said we gotta set up crosses in the field, hang them upside down like Peter. Nah, I ain't saying that. But what I'm saying is you gotta disassociate yourselves with them. You gotta say, nah, like, nah. You understand? You shouldn't have did what you did. He gonna say, man, what you mean, bro? She a hoe, she came on to me, this, that, and the third. Nah. You understand? Don't even stand by something like that. And here we stand with the victim first. You understand? Until the truth come out, then whatever. You understand? If she lied, she lied. If not, she not. But majority of the time, These brothers are rapists themselves. Or Future, who said, put a pill in a cup. Who said that was Future? Was it Future or Rick Ross? That was Rick Ross. But what did he say? Put a pill in a cup. But he said a pill though. Put a pill in a cup, and he ain't even know it. He should have got crucified for that. He should have got crucified for that. His career should have been over. You understand? Because rape is not something to play with. The Bible. What does the Bible compare rape to? Murder. When you rape a woman, you don't even understand the problems you're gonna have to. I pray to the Lord, I don't ever have to deal with that. You know that the post trauma that comes from a woman being raped, she damn near don't even want you to touch her no more, and you her husband. You understand? That's it. It destroys a woman. But we have to teach your daughters, no matter how much they feel like they're going to be criticized, that they're going to be talked about because they came out and said that somebody raped them. One, you're going to have to teach your daughters to be wise. You have to tell them to stop being fucking stupid. Stop going into them drinking goddamn somebody puts out your fucking salaki. You have to tell them that first. Stop wearing those provocative clothes. You going into these house parties wearing a mini skirt, no drawers on, nothing, with your breasts out. And then on top of looking like a whore, you drinking every goddamn thing that a brother puts inside of your hand. You have to teach your daughters to not be stupid, to not put themselves in positions where predators can eat them. Right? And now in the world gonna go crazy. How you gonna tell a woman what to wear? You can't control this. You can't control what a woman does. Well, as a father and as a brother, you do understand that it does not matter what your woman puts on. There are predators in this world that'll attack your woman regardless. She can be clothed trash bag from head to toe, and there's some predator out there who will still try to attack your woman. However, you can do is try to lessen the chances. How do you lessen those chances? Tell her no, she's not. Oh, my cousin is having a kickback, and it's gonna be these people in there. No, you're not going. Oh, but there's this party that's happening over here at this house. No, you're not going. Oh, I'm about to go with my girls, and she wearing a mini skirt. No, you're not wearing that. You can lessen the chances of these things happening, whether your wife or your daughter. Also, the last you have to teach sisters is that if someone does abuse them, you have to say something. You have to. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. It doesn't matter how gray area the situation that might have taken place happened. You have to say something. You have to call. You got to tell your father, or you got to tell a brother. You have to say something. Otherwise, you will be at fault. And I'll read it. Keep going.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The damsel, because she cried not.
Because she what?
Cried not.
Because she did not say anything. Because she did not say anything. Now she is just as guilty as you. Cannot allow fear to plague your life. Fear will get you killed. Right. Fear will get you unalived. Fear will make you smoke a blunt. Do you know how many men have blown rod out of fear? You know how many men do it? How many men go to prison and turn into full-blown homosexuals because they're scared of something? Right. Because they're scared of a knife. Because they're scared of death. Fear will make you sin against the Lord. And you cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid of that. You can't be afraid of the criticism, of the chastisement that comes with your friends. You can't be afraid that your friends are going to disassociate themselves with you because you telling everybody that the star quarterback on the football team raped you last night, and now you're going to lose your friends. You can't be afraid of that. That cannot bother you. If something happens, You have to cry out. You have to say, he raped me. He abused. Right then, right there. The day after it happens, you can't wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You know why? Why can't you wait that long? Come on.
Because it becomes unbelievable.
It becomes unbelievable, but quite literally, why can't you wait that long in America? Come on. About that says what? It's not hours, but there's a what when it comes to rape in America. Sis? No, not age. No, there's no age limit on rape, right? Which is called what? Let me see if the sister can get it. What you said was correct, but there's thing that that America's law has for that they do not have with murder. They don't got it with murder. What is it called, brother? You had it. There's a statute of limitation with rape. It exists. That means that after about 4 or 5 years after the rape took place, you can no longer go to the police and tell them that someone raped you and bring them up on charges. Someone unalived your grandma 100 years ago, and if you find out and have evidence against the person who unalived your grandmother 100 years ago, you can take them on charge. They go in prison. They could be 120, and they're going to prison. There is no statute of limitation on murder, but you have to say something, and you have to say it right then and there. Keep going.
And the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife.
So now he's going because he has with another man's wife, which is adultery. Keep going.
So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
So thou shalt put away evil from among you. Now your question was in 25, but that's why I had you read 24. Now go ahead and read 25.
Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field.
Now, if a man finds what?
A betrothed damsel in the field.
Betrothed means what?
Promise.
A promised woman. She talking to somebody. They're courting. She's to somebody, meaning her undivided attention is on him. Courtships they're the step behind marriage. They are damn near married, right? They're just working out some kinks, getting some things together. Can courtships end? Yes, of course they can. You don't necessarily have to get married to that person, but you don't get into a courtship to end it, if that makes sense, right? You don't stick your rod in a woman to divorce her. You don't get courtship to end it. You get into it because you know I'm going to take this woman as my wife, and I'm going to keep her for the rest of my life. Now, courtship, you can get out of it. If it doesn't work, she turns out to be a dragon, no sweat, right? But now, this man right here finds a damsel, right, in the field. Keep going.
And divorce her.
And the man, right? How he rapes her. Keep going.
And lie with her.
Has sex with her. Keep going.
Then the man only that lie with her shall die.
And the man only that lie with her shall die. Why? What would be different here that was contrary in verse 24?
So like
because she said something. You understand? Okay. That's why in 24 it makes to mention because she cried not. Is the difference these two verses? Okay. Both situations are the same. Both of these are betrothed. Both of these men found these women and had sex with them. But in verse 24, she did not cry out. In verse 25, she said something. You understand? Right. Keep going.
Verse 26. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even is the matter.
Now it's going to explain it in verse 27. Keep going.
Verse 27. When he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried.
She cried. She said something. All right, keep going.
And there was none to save her.
And no one was around to save her. So that's why she ended up being raped. Right? But she would not be punished for that because she did nothing wrong. Understand? That I know we just spent 15 minutes going over this. someone hear anything in here that even alluded to a man can rape a woman? Be honest. Because these are the exact same scriptures that GMS pulled, the exact same one. And they somewhere in here, I don't know where the fuck is that. So like, where the hell is that? But somewhere in here, to them, it says that it's okay to marry a woman. Matter of fact, let's read.
Which is not betrothal.
So now a man finds a damsel that is a virgin, that is not promised. Remember the key contextual tips that's happening in these scriptures. One is promised. One cried out. One did not cry out. This one is not promised. She's a single woman. She's single. Keep going.
And lay hold on her.
And lay hold on her. Keep going.
And lie with her.
Now, what is that talking about? Break it down. What is the contextual difference? What does it mean to lay hold on a woman?
So like I said, to captivate her, basically to spit game to get to know her.
Yeah, like we don't have to try to manipulate the word so much.
Right.
You took her. You took her. Yeah. Now, did you force her against her? In this context, in this scripture, is he forcing her against her will? How do you know?
Like it doesn't say force.
It doesn't say force, and also what you probably have to read down to know how to know that he didn't force her. Well, actually, just keep going. We'll get it.
Okay.
Right. So he lay hold on her
and lie with her,
and he had sex with her. Keep going.
And they be found.
Meaning everybody found sex.
Not. Then the man that lied with her shall give unto the damsel's father.
You done took the daughter. You didn't court. You didn't ask for his permission. Y'all got together. You had sex. Now you're gonna have to give him 50 shekels of silver. Keep going.
And she shall be his wife.
And that's gonna be your woman. Keep going.
Because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days.
So now, in verse 28, and lie with her, and they be found, or lay hold on her, and they, how do you know this is not? Come on.
Because he went to his father and made him.
Nope. Come on.
Because they want to kill him.
Because they would have just been killed, like it says in verse 25, 26. In verse 24, it says that they will bring them out into the gate of the city, and they shall stone with stones until they die. If 9 and you can woman, then that is a contradiction. Because in verse 24, they were stoned to death.
Right.
For rape. Simple enough, right?
Okay.
We can move on.
Okay.
Let's move on. Your question? Any other questions? Young man, Chef, you got any questions? No questions. Ooh. Let me see what time we got. No questions, man. Y'all know what that means. It seems like I'm about to have to play Christian, since y'all know everything. I know everything, huh? Let me ask you a question. What is the Passover? Come on.
Passover is a high holy day. That's the word I was going to label it, but basically it's a significant event that happened for us and only us to basically show forth the Lord is only with the Israelites.
Okay. But how do you keep the Passover? Come on. That's it. That's all I wanted. The Passover is the lamb. All right. You eat the lamb. That's how you keep the Passover. If you don't eat the lamb, then you did not keep the Passover. Right? Disciples asked Christ, where were we going to meet to eat the Passover? Right? They asked that because they were poor. They didn't have a place. Christ said, the fox had the hole, but the Son of Man have no place to lay his head. They were poor, and they wanted to find out where they were going to go to eat the Passover, right? The Passover is not where we were at in Durham, North Carolina. That's not the Passover. That is where we decided, that's where Commander General Yohana decided that the nation of Israel was going to come together so that we could all eat the Passover together, right? You may need that for your back when the fake Israelites try to say that China Monet performed the Passover. The Passover isn't even a fucking event, Salakia. It's the lamb. You can't perform at the thing that you eat to hold the Passover. You understand? Give me let's see. Give me Romans 6:1. So now Christians say that we're saved because we are under grace, right? So now I'm gonna play Christian. Y'all gonna teach me. Anybody online, if you want to help, Shep, you want to jump in, you can also help. We are under, matter of fact, hold on. Give me Romans chapter 7 before you go there. Romans 6. Start it off.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 5. For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sins, which were by the law.
When we were in the flesh, the motion of sins, which were by the law, meaning what? When we were carnal, right? The sins we did or we committed, which were by the law. What does that mean? Actually, my bad, Salaki. I'm Christian. My bad, Salaki. For when we were in the flesh, the motion of sins, which were by the law, we were sinning because of the law, right? Keep going.
Which were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death.
So now, this is what the plan is. Because we were under the law, it brought forth fruits of death. You know how many people died because of adultery? How many people died because they worshiped another god? How many people died because of their sexuality? They died because we were under the law. For fruit of death, verse 6. It says, but now we are delivered from the law. Remember, when you go to Matthew 5:17, the topic is how Christ came and he delivered us. He's our deliverer. He's our comforter. And he comforted us from this death that we were under in the Old Testament following the law. But now, verse 6, but now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, meaning death is what gripped us. We were held under death. We couldn't do nothing but die, which is why the Israelites went through so much changing of powers during the time of the Old Testament and so many captivities, because we could not stop sinning against the Most High, right? That we should serve in newness of spirit. What is that? The spirit of Jesus, the spirit of forgiveness, the spirit of mercy, and the spirit of grace, and not in the oldness of the letter. We don't need to follow the Old Testament. Hold on 1 second, Shay. I'm coming to you. You don't got to follow the Old Testament. I just read it for you right then and there. Well, I'll be a pastor, bro. Go ahead, Shep. What you got? You got the floor.
So if we knew that we would die if we didn't follow the laws, then why didn't we follow the laws?
Let me ask you a question. The last time you rode in a vehicle, did you put on your seatbelt? Be honest.
Sir, I did, actually.
Yeah. When was the last time you rode in a vehicle and did not put on your seatbelt?
I can't tell you. I don't remember. I know I've done it recently, though.
So Shep has done it. Sis, have you done it? Sis said that she's done it. You say you've done it. You rode in a vehicle, didn't put on. What about you, brother? You did it? Yeah. You always got your seatbelt on. No sweat. You do know that if you get in an accident without your seat, that the chances of you getting alive spikes through the roof. You do know that, right, Shep?
Come on, sir.
So why is it that you got in the car moving without the seatbelt on?
Can you repeat that?
So why is it that you got in that car and did not put your seatbelt on?
Because the chances of us actually dying is low.
Hell no. What you just said is the reason why we thought we could sin against the Most High. Because we ain't that why people sell drugs today? When you go to sell drugs, you believe that the chances of you getting caught are very, very low. That's why you do it. If someone knew 98% chance that if I go out here and sell this weed, I'm gonna get caught and go to prison. If every person thought like that, do you think people would sell drugs? It would lessen. It would be minuscule because you would get caught. But why do people commit crimes? They commit crimes because they believe that the chances of them committing the crime successfully is higher than the chances of them failing and getting caught at the crime. Sinning against the Most High is no different. You think that you can sleep with that white woman. That all of the people on earth, the Lord really seeing me do it right now? Is the Lord really watching me sleep with it? Give somebody pull the scripture with the Sadducees eating the pork behind the tree. You believe that you are not going to be the one to get caught because that's what everyone believes. Everyone believes that, man, I could drive without a license. I ain't gonna be the one to get pulled over. I can roll around without a shirt on and drive 60 to 80 miles per hour. I ain't gonna get no car accident and fly through the window. The problem is this: according to statistics, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to fly through a window tonight. You know that, right? There's somebody in America has to get in a car and they have to not have their seatbelt on and they have to fly out of the windshield and they have to lose their life. It has to happen according to statistics. Otherwise, a lot will change. Somebody has to be unalive. Someone has to die from high blood pressure. Someone has to figure out right now that they have just been diagnosed with lung cancer. Before they were diagnosed with lung cancer, right now it's happening somewhere in the earth. They thought that before, when they were smoking the Newports, when they were smoking the cigarettes and the vape pens and the weed, they believed, I'm not going to be the one to get it. Before, and just knew that this was not going to cause. I did it in the world. I picked up I know black was far, but I never smoked no cigarette, even though a cigarette I think is better than a black, if I'm not mistaken, health-wise. It's all wicked. But you've done it thinking, this isn't going to kill me. How many of you ever sold a drug or sold something illegal and thought, I'm not going to be the one to get caught doing this? I've done it. I've done it. And if you carried an illegal weapon thinking, I'm not going to be the one to get caught, I've done it. You understand? We all do these things thinking that we're not going to be the one that get caught. And then you stupid behind gets caught. You are the one because someone has to get caught. And it's going to happen to you. Nadia, you got it? Come on.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 17. They that sanctify and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst.
No, now they're leaders. They ain't gonna get caught. And in them believing get caught, they do what? They hide themselves. They hide themselves thinking that they hiding from the Most High, just like Adam and Eve in the garden. They think they covering themselves from the sight of the Lord. And they sit behind that tree and they eat pork. You understand? They sleep with white women. They smoke weed. They prostitute their women. beating wives behind this tree. Because of course, when they're in front of everybody, they're perfect. They don't let their demons show in front of everybody. I almost admire brothers who never ever change. Almost admire brothers who come in here with demons and they let you know exactly what demon they got. I almost admire it. You understand? Not to say that it's something that you shouldn't fight, but it shows a little bit of in you rather than you coming here and are perfect. Ooh, you don't got no demons. You don't ever call for counsel. You just perfect and you don't do nothing and you the perfect Hebrew. You should be a general. You so perfect. You don't ever need help. You don't ever ask questions. You know every goddamn thing about the Bible. You just so perfect. You just like Jesus. But then you go home, battle smoking weed in the bedroom. Right. Go home and you battle putting hands on your wife. Then you go home and you battle paying for sex with them prostitutes. But you don't ever call for counsel. But they believe that they'll never get caught. I tell you what, General Mahayman knows exactly what you do. You come in here and be perfect all you want. General Mahayman knows exactly who you are. If I were you, I would just introduce you. I think that'll just be better. You should go to General and say, Salaki, say, I'm this, that, and the third, and this is my problem. I have a problem with alcoholism. I have a problem with getting so mad that I have to fight putting my hands on my wife. I have a problem with going to strip clubs. I have a problem with talking to white women online. I have a problem with talking to men behind my husband. You should go to General Mahayman and you should introduce yourself so that you can get acquainted with someone who will actually fix problems instead of trying to hide it and being so perfect. Eventually, Satan is going to enrage your lust so much that you're going to do something that's going to get you kicked out of the school. Right. Every brother believes that they can sin against the Most High and that they won't get caught. Keep reading.
In the abomination.
Uh-huh.
In the mouse.
Uh-huh.
Shall be consumed together.
And even though you believe that you won't get caught, the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together. Saith what?
Saith
the Most High. You not run away from judgment. The Lord sees everything you do, and the brothers of the men above you see it. See it. You understand? So you should check yourself before you get into it, right? Now, Shep, does that answer your question?
Sir. Go on.
All right, Christ. So now I'm going back to playing Christian. I just read what I had. Right? We was dying underneath the law, so now we don't have to follow the oldness of the letter. That's in Romans chapter 7 and verse 6. Right? I'll read it one more time just so you refresh. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the letter. So now, what you got? Who gonna battle me? My name is what's my name today, sis? Pastor what? Give me a last name that sound good. The wine bottle. No, that's not good. Pastor Jenkins. Pastor Jenkins of the First Bethlehemic Church of Angelic Saints in God in Christ. Come on now. If you Romans, you can understand mysteries. Paul spoke mysteries. You can understand this.
So, sir, wouldn't a lot of Christians use this precept to say that you don't have to follow the laws anymore?
Yeah, that's why I'm Christian. I'm Christian Pastor Jenkins right now. I want you brothers to be Israelites and debate me. I'm the pastor. I'm debating y'all. And I pulled this scripture. I got y'all ready to join my church. Y'all know it, man. No. I ain't never seen that before in my life. In my years of being in the truth, I've never seen somebody turn around and say, Salaki, we need help. Come on, answer it. You take it. You the trooper. I see what you got. Come on.
Well, if you're saying, in the past when we did die by the letter. That's the whole purpose of the letter is that judgment came with the letter of the law.
Mm-mm. The purpose of what God gave us in the Old Testament was not for us to die, ever. Right? That would make the Lord an unjust God. Right? Give me this. I'll give it to you. Give me Ezekiel 33 and 11. Mm-hmm.
This book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Say unto them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
I have no what?
Pleasure in the death of the wicked.
I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked. Ezekiel is in what testament?
The Old Testament.
So the Old Testament was never written for us to die, right? I mean, no, Salak, there's another one I'm looking for. No, that's it, right? Keep reading.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
But that the wicked turn from his way and live.
Who is this talking about?
It's like Israel.
You. It's talking about us. He has no in the death of the wicked, but to turn from his way and now going response. So the Lord never set up the Old Testament or these laws for us to die, right? He did it for the contrary. He set it up for us, right? All the way back to Adam, right? Where he gave Adam his laws, right? He taught us the laws. And then once Moses stepped on the scene, Moses gave us what? The commandments, right? The commandments which came with the judgments. Now we're building what? Building a kingdom. We're building a government. Now the Israelites are a governing body who was governed by the Most High, who was following these laws, whose leaders at the time in the Exodus was Moses, and then who's the other brother? Was it Joseph? Joshua, right? Who came after Moses, so on and so forth. So now the old for us to live, for us to die, for us to live. So now, but just don't say that. Mm-hmm. Remember, you battling a Christian. There are certain things that Christians do not do, and I want you to focus on those things. Focus on those points. Everything you learn about Christians, because even though I'm playing Christian, I'm still kind of helping you out. That's my only hint. So what will you say? Okay.
Well, it says, verse 5, for when we were in the flesh, the motions of sins, which were by the law, meaning basically that sin because it went against the law that we were being taught.
Okay.
It did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death, meaning the sins that we did commit, being that they were against the law, we got punished for it. Verse 6, but now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, meaning when we committed those sins, we were killed for them. That we should serve in newness of spirit, meaning we should know and serve the law in the spirit, meaning not kill his brother just because I love him and I don't want anybody to do the same thing to me. And not in the oldness of the letter, because in the letter, they will be killed for it.
And that's good. That's decent, right? But now see what Paul is saying here. Verse 5, for when we were in the flesh, right? What is he saying? What is your flesh? Come on. is your skin, your dermis, your flesh. It's your beating heart. Are we in our flesh today? Are we humans? We are. So then, what is Paul saying? Why is if we then what are we now?
Not
So if we're not in the flesh, then what are we? Come on. No.
become a new creature.
If we're not in the flesh, we're in what? Come on. No.
Sloppy, sir.
Shut.
I probably sound like a Christian, but in the spirit,
No, you don't sound like a Christian. You sound like a goddamn person correct on this class. You understand? We're not in the flesh. We're in the spirit. Why? How many of us smoke weed? Did smoking weed make you feel good? It did, right? It satisfied your flesh. How many of you have ate shrimp? That spicy shrimp and that shrimp Alfredo tastes good, didn't it? Satisfied your flesh. There's a lot of things that you've done in the past before you came to the truth that satisfied. No, don't say that. Right? Say something different. Come on. Come on.
According to Paul,
Mm-hmm.
I do the law now.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be against my integrity to go against the law and say.
Think about what Paul said. Think about what Paul said, right? For when we were in the flesh in verse 5. But in verse 6, he said that we should serve in the newness of spirit. Why is it even though it satisfies your flesh? Come on. You renewed your spirit, but why don't you eat pork? Why don't you eat shrimp? It tastes good. Come on. You got it. Why don't you eat it now?
Salakia, sir.
Come on.
Because now you actually want to do it.
You want to do it.
Can you repeat that?
You want to do what? You said because now you actually want to do it, but you're saying we want to do what?
You want to follow the laws.
Why? Why don't you eat pork or shrimp anymore, even though it tastes good? Sleeping with them prostitutes was fun. Why don't you do it anymore? Don't say because you found out in the truth that you AIDS and HIV and that you found that out in Sexology 101. You knew that that could happen. So that's not the reason. Why don't you do it now? Trying not to give it to you. Remember, Paul said you're not in the flesh. We were in the flesh.
Because we want to inherit the kingdom in the last days.
Think about Paul is in direct correlation with each other. You ate pork when you were in the flesh. Why did you eat pork when you was in the flesh? Because it satisfied what? It satisfied your flesh. You unalived that brother because he stepped in your shoe in the flesh. Why? Because it satisfied your flesh. Your flesh, your body wanted to do it. And so you now not in the flesh, according to Paul. Asking y'all that we're not in the flesh. What are we in? In the spirit. We're in the spirit. So now, why won't you eat pork? Why won't you do it? You are this new person that won't eat pork. But why? Come on, Shep.
Because you know it's wrong and it feels good to not do something that's wrong.
On it. I want you to use the word that I'm using. You ate pork in the world because it satisfied your flesh. Why won't you eat pork now that you're in the spirit? Come on. Because it would satisfy your flesh. Your flesh does want to eat pork. Don't get it twisted. Don't be overly righteous. Your flesh wants to smoke. My flesh wants to smoke weed. I tell you, my flesh to do a lot of things, to hurt a lot of people, to do a lot of things deemed illegal. My flesh wants to do it. I have to go to counsel and battle these things. You understand? Because my flesh, and I'm battling my flesh because I want to what? With the spirit. Come on. So I want to satisfy the spirit now. Now we satisfy the spirit of Christ. And satisfying the spirit of Christ, we have to follow these laws. Right. Read on, which is what I say Christians don't do. Just read the next verse. Mm-hmm.
What shall we then?
So now Paul is, what shall we say then? Keep going.
Is the law sin?
Is the law sin? Is the law add unto us now? Because we were dying when we had the law in the Old Testament, when we were in the flesh, but now we're in the spirit. And now that we're in the spirit and we've learned to live for Christ, is the law sin now? Keep going.
God forbid.
Hell no. Nah. It's not. The law is not sin. The law is the law and we should follow it. We have to follow it to be in the spirit. Keep going. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have not known sin, but by the law.
Meaning, we wouldn't even know what these sins are that we're talking about if the law didn't exist. Is that not what we tell Christians today? Right. When Christians say, oh, that rap music is a sin. How is it a sin? You wouldn't know what a sin is if you did not know the law. And if the law is done away with, then how can the rap music a sin? You should be able to worship the devil. And your grandmama should never say that you're sinning because the law is done away with, right? Keep going.
For I had not known lust except the law had said.
I wouldn't know what lust is. If we were not given these laws, you would be nothing more than an animal. You would be like this whole, like what Paul is doing. Paul is like goddamn Yoda. Yoda be saying something, and when he say, you be like, why you can't get it? You feel me? But he's saying something that when you think about it, damn, this nigga cold. Paul is saying something that will make if stupid they are. Paul is essentially saying, if there was no law, there would be no topic. What are we even talking about? Why are we even discussing whether rape is a sin or not? Why is that even discussing? If there was no law, then just rape everybody. Just eat anything, unalive everything, do whatever you want to do. But the reason why we know what rape is, the reason why we know murder, the reason why we know adultery and know lust is because of what? Come on. Because of the law in the Old Testament. It's the only reason it's the only reason we even know to measure our righteousness upon anything is because of the law of the Old Testament. Keep going.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not covet.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Sin.
No, you can stop there.
Okay.
Right? So now you're gonna go into different sins, but nonetheless, that's what you brothers have to do. Make sure to read ahead of what a Christian pulls. Don't ever run from what a Christian pulls. Right? Christian pulls the scripture, stay right there. Go right to his scripture that he pulled and read 2 verses up, 2 verses down, because his cut is there in that very scripture. Now, you can go back there, right? So now, oh no, that's not what I want. We was in here. Oh no, that's not either. You was somewhere else. I had pulled Romans, right? Okay, I know what I did. I had pulled Romans because I was playing Christian. And I done saved y'all out your own goddamn body. Right? So now, got a second to respond to this text. We got 5 minutes. So now, what does it mean for us to be under the bondage of the Old Testament, of the law? What did that mean?
So long as sir. Under
Come on, sir. You got it.
okay. If we're under the Old Testament, you said the Old Testament, right?
Uh-huh.
Under the Old Testament, then we would be unalive for not following the laws.
Right. We would be unalive for not following the law. That would happen. And so now what is Christ coming, what Christ did, and in the New Testament, what do we have to do? Like, a lot of people believe that the Old Testament is more harsh than the New Testament. They believe that in the Old Testament, if you sinned against the Most High, you had to be alive, you would get stoned to death, things that this, that, and the third. However, the New Testament is harder. It's harder to pay for it. Mm-hmm.
Offer up a lamb.
You could sacrifice. You could just not get caught. How do you know you could just not get caught? Well, no. How do you know biblically you could just not get caught? We pulled it. Mm-hmm. Ezekiel, no, it's Isaiah 66 and 17. Mm-hmm. Because they're hiding. Why were they hiding? Because they felt like they wouldn't get caught. Otherwise, they wouldn't have did it. But that just goes to show you that they thought that back then they could do it and not get caught. So you could just not get caught, right? You could also do what? You could also take up the office of Sadducee and Pharisee. You could also do that, just like who today? Come on, just Christians, like Christian pastors. They do the same amount of wickedness that you do in your communities, except they don't get crucified for it. You do though. You get crucified for being a drug dealer. Who else is a drug dealer? Your pastor. Right. He supports drug dealing. What the young dog say? He paying 10% with drug money. Right. The pastor knows you're a drug dealer. I got Snoop Dogg in the pastor them shows in Power. Hollywood ain't that intelligent. They're taking real stories and just making shows out of it. Right. But you could just not get caught, or you could join the Sadducees and Pharisees and do the same thing. Go ahead, Nadia. What you got to say? Yeah. Go ahead. So you could just do things. Read it one more time.
Okay. Isaiah 66, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Sanctify yourself, purify in this, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Mm-hmm. Verse 18.
Now you can stop there, right? That just goes to show you that they thought that they just couldn't, that they would not get caught. Okay. But they would. You understand? They will get caught because the Lord will see everything. Understand? One more scripture I want to get for. If y'all clear on that, you clear on the bondage of the law, right? The death that came with the law. You sure? You positive? Right? A lot of people think the Old Testament is harder. The New Testament is worse than the Old Testament. You understand that? Or do you not understand what I just said? So if I say break it down, you can break it down what I just said. Come on.
Basically, what you were saying is that in the Old Testament, being that it was by the letter, and was judged by it, being that it's in the New Testament, and it's by the Spirit, that if we teach, you can eat swine's flesh, you do what you want to do, that if we teaching it, we lead to the kingdom.
Yeah. Yes. Remember, Christ said this. Go ahead.
Or the Lord would just simply kill you.
The Lord could kill you. The Lord could unalive you anytime. Like since the beginning earth. He can unalive you for whatever reason he wants to. However, remember that what Christ did by putting us in the spirit of the Most High, now the way that you think could be to you. Remember what Christ said when he was dealing with looking at a woman and lust. He said, when you lust at a woman, you've already sinned in your mind. Meaning the way that you think about brothers in the truth, the way that you think about brothers, period, can be counted against you. Meaning you have to change your mind. Give me where it, what is it? Give me where the Lord said that he wants from you a contrite mind and spirit. This is in Psalms 51. Psalms 51 and 17. This one is in Apocrypha. The what? Three holy children? No, I'm not sure what that is. You might read it.
Nevertheless, in contrite heart and a humble spirit, let it be accepted.
Nah, give me a yeah.
Book of Psalms, chapter 51.
Someone give us 12 and stay there.
Book of Psalms 51, 17.
This is Psalms 51 and verse 17.
Christ or a broken spirit.
Christ is Most High. What?
A broken spirit.
A broken spirit. Come on.
A broken and contrite heart.
A broken and contrite heart. What does that mean? Where we at? You said Psalms what?
51, 17.
51 and 17. What does that mean? A broken spirit and a contrite heart.
So I would say, and someone who's sincere.
A what?
A man that's less fortunate, a poor man. As far
as what?
Being in spirit, so it's like.
What is contrite? Like, break it down. What is a contrite? Like the sons of the Most High are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. The broken spirit is what? What is that referring to? It's your pride.
Right? Sir.
Come on.
Yeah, I was going to say your faith is low in the laws and in the Most High.
Okay, I wouldn't use that your faith is necessarily low in the Most High, because the Most High wants you to be this way, right? And the Most High wants you to have a broken spirit, because this is the sacrifice. A lot of us don't want to have a broken spirit. We believe in serving the Most High, that we have to know more than God. We got to know more than everybody. We got to know this and do this and be this type of person. Serve him with a broken spirit, meaning be humble. I want to use that word. Just be broke. Something that is broken has to be what? It has to be repaired. Come to him ready to be repaired. Understand? With your cup empty, so that you can learn how to actually serve the Most High. And then also have a broken and contrite heart, which means what? It's sincerity, and then recognizing your brokenness. You understand? That's how the Lord wants you to serve him. Keep going. You got verse 17. Go ahead.
Thou wilt not despise.
Go ahead.
Verse 18. Do good.
Oh no, you can drop that. Now give me Romans 12 and 1.
I'm done. Let's look at Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren. Right? This is Paul. Keep going.
By the mercies of God.
By the mercies of the Most High. Why? Because the Most High was merciful unto the children of Israel. The children of Israel, of course, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And why? How was he merciful? How was the Lord merciful? Quickly. Come on.
Because we're not dead.
And why? Okay, break it down a little bit more.
It's like we're still able to serve.
Because he sent Christ.
Okay.
Right? Christ was his mercy unto us. If Christ did not get unalive, then who would have been unalive? All of us. All of the children of Israel would have been unalive. We would have been, the Lord was thinking about unaliving us back in Exodus with Moses. He was getting rid of all the Israelites and he would have made the Israelites on Sinai. Luckily, Moses loves you. He loved you. Some other brother would have said, that sounds like a good idea. You would have not been here, right? Keep going.
That ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
That ye present your body a living sacrifice. How do you present your body a living sacrifice?
Being ready to be renewed.
What? The sacrifice of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. You present yourself that way to the Most High. Keep going.
Acceptable.
Holy, separate, acceptable to the Most High. Keep going.
Unto God, which is your reasonable service.
It's your reasonable service, man. It's your reasonable service to not be a drug addict, to not smoke hookah, to not eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, celebrate Christmas and birthdays and Halloween and Thanksgiving. It's your reasonable service to be a righteous brother and sister and serve high. Come into the school, learn these records, learn the Bible. You understand? And serve him throughout your years. Come on. But we don't celebrate no holiday that America sets up. You understand? Like any holiday that the Lord deems to be, that the world deems to be celebrated, we ain't doing it. You understand? For who? For what? For soldiers that went and fought against people to make America great so that they can oppress us more? To hell with Memorial Day. You understand? There's brothers and sisters who served in the military who should protest Memorial Day. You know how many brothers got their goddamn leg blown off to come back home and got spit on while they was rolling in their wheelchair because they was black? You know how many brothers and sisters got mistreated by the VA because of the color of their skin? To hell with Memorial Day. You know what white people should say? Memorial Day. They should celebrate the hell out of Memorial Day. They should do fireworks. They should go crazy on the grill. They should turn all the way up. They should have the time of their life. They should do it. I applaud them. Hey, go get it on. Because when Christ come back and put your people in slaves and put your people with the trauma that you put mine through, believe me and my brothers, we going to celebrate our day. Right. We going to celebrate that day, and we ain't going to give a damn what you got to say about it. But as far as us, I ain't celebrating their Memorial Day. You think I'm about to celebrate that after what they said about us after the Passover? Right. We held a Passover with what, 1,000 people? 1,500, whatever. I don't care how many people. It could be 100 people. According, had a couple fireworks. Understand? Said a few prayers, ate some lamb, mustered up the Hebrew Academy, sold some stuff, and then what? Went home. That was it. We didn't have parties that was happening because of the Passover all across the world. Ain't nobody do that for us. We didn't shut down work. Work still happened. People still went to work on Friday. They went to work on Monday too. We ain't do nothing. We ain't bother nobody. But they turned around and called us terrorists. That's what they said. They said we terrorists, said that we the Black KKK, said that we gonna come down and pull that side of that building. That's what they said. And we supposed to celebrate Memorial Day? Nah. They can have that Memorial Day out and whatever other day else they want. But we ain't verse 2. This is why we ain't doing it.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And be not conformed to this world.
And be not conformed to this world. Don't let this world dictate how you live, how you serve the most. Because if you do that, you'll be a bottom almost LGBTQ. If you allow this world to dictate how you live, how you think, how you eat, how you sleep, who you sleep with, they'll tell you that you have to be a homosexual. Come on. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Beware lest he spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit,
Mm-hmm.
after the tradition of men,
Mm-hmm.
after the rudiments of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and not after Christ.
And not after Christ. Christ ain't teach no Memorial Day. You understand? So you could definitely, as a pre-reading now, yeah.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Change the way that you think. You understand? The way that you think about things, how you move, how you act, the women you choose to lay with, the brothers who you choose to sleep with, sisters. You understand? You got to change everything. The way you raise your children, the way that you brother to a brother. You got brothers that come into his own. We got laws of hospitality. You understand? That you have to follow. It has to be like embedded into you. Like the Lord said that he wrote these, inner part. It has to be you. Brother shouldn't call you and say, I'm coming to your zone. And then you got to go into the scriptures and look. So, man, Bible says I got to do this. Let me make it done then, because it says it right here. The way that you think is who you are. And the way that we think like Christ thinks. You understand? Brotherhood is everything. Sisterhood is everything. Following these laws is everything to us. You understand? Almost and so that we don't even need these records. We almost don't. How do you know? Christ said it himself. Christ said the whole hinge on these two. Come on. He said that the whole law hinge on these two, that thou love the Most High with all thy heart and spirit or mind, Salagia, and that you love thy brother as thyself. Christ himself damn near dismissed everything else. Read it. Now just read that part. Mm-hmm.
Like, looking back at chapter 22, verse 7,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said unto him,
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
Now read it. I want him to say the whole law hinges on these two. You might be right. Read what I need. I got you. I trust you. Come on.
40.
Go ahead. Read whatever. I got you.
Verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
These two commandments are the prophets.
These two hang all the law and the prophets. Keep going.
Verse 41.
Mm-hmm. No, Salahi, brother. I want to again and go down. Mm-hmm.
You're looking back in chapter 22, verse 35.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, which was the lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
asked him a question,
Mm-hmm.
tempting him,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, verse 36.
And one of the lawyers tempted him, saying, remember the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the if I'm not mistaken, back then, those were your religious leaders, those were your politicians, they were your law enforcers, they were your lawyers and all of that, right? So this is a lawyer that's asking him these questions, trying to confound Christ. Keep going.
Verse 36.
Mm-hmm.
Master,
Mm-hmm.
which is the great commandment in the law?
They asked him, the master, which is the great commandment in the law? They're being facetious, calling him master, right? When they know they don't follow him. If they follow him, they wouldn't have been a Sadducee or a Pharisee. What would they have? Come on. They would have been a disciple if he was their master. They do that to the Israelite school of UPK all the time. When fake Israelites come into our class on the fake accounts, and we see you. And they come in here asking questions. Shalom, General. Shalom, Adawan. Can I get a breakdown on blase, blase, blah? It's the same thing that the lawyer is doing to Christ. When you know you don't follow us, you know you're not in these ranks, but yet you need our help. You need our breakdown so that you can survive. Well, these lawyers, they was asking Christ the same thing. Go ahead.
37.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said unto him,
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God
Mm-hmm.
with all thy heart,
Mm-hmm.
with all thy soul,
You love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul. Keep going.
with all thy mind.
And with all thy mind. Keep going.
Verse 38.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first and great commandment.
This is the first and great commandment. Now, you would think that he's dismissing all the other ones, right? Keep going.
Verse 39.
Mm-hmm.
The second like unto it.
And the second is just like it, right? Keep going.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Who is your neighbor? Come on. Your brother. Your brother is your neighbor, right? That's in the Bible. We could prove that for those who who think your neighbor is John that lives next door, right? Keep going.
Verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
On these two commandments hang all the law.
On these two commandments hang all the law. He damn near did over every other, because when these are in your mind, when brotherhood is on your mind, then guess what? You won't sleep with another man's wife. When brotherhood is on your mind, then what do you need the law of a sojourner for? What's the point of it? What's the point of the law of a Samaritan? Do you need it? No. If you travel to another zone, when you wanted to take care of you, you would want to feel like, I'm not a piece of scum of the earth who just came here and you told me, be safe. You wouldn't want a brother to tell you that, would you? So do you need a law that tells you specifically what you should do if a brother comes to your zone? No, you don't. What you do, brotherhood. You understand? You need a law that says, do not celebrate Christmas. Do not celebrate Egyptian gods. Do not do this. Do not do that. If you love the Most High, no, you don't need that. All you got to know is that you love the Most High. And if you love the Most High, then there are certain things that you will just not do because you love him. The whole law hang on those two and that you need. You understand? Let me see what time we at. We over the time. We did start late, so no sweat. All right. Any other questions before we end it? Shep, you good online?
Connor, welcome.
All right. Any other questions in the room? No sweat. Again, man, big shout out to Commander General Yohana for holding the 55th annual Passover out here in Durham, North Carolina. Snow Hill, North Carolina, where the location was. Man, shout out to all the brothers and all the zones, all of the work that y'all doing, man. All of the sisters that came through and helped make these things happen. And Captain Isupk for hosting the Passover in North Carolina 2 years in a row. Ooh, that's got to be the next. The camp is mighty. I'm sure he knows brothers putting in his work. You understand? And just remember, the law is not done away with, man. And if your Christian pastor or your Christian mother tells you otherwise, you bring them to me. Hey, all the brothers, all the sisters, man. And with that, shalom, Yabba Shem Shabbat, and shalom, Yahweh Shema, Lathabah, Shemi Hawashah.